Hi there, my name is Thelma Clark and this is my video for the Individual Project 2 Contribution to SRS Project. Today we are speaking with Neve, an API developer from Notion, about how our SRS document supports third-party integrations. And then after the interview I will tell you about how I think I performed within the group dynamic and how I can use the experience to learn and improve. Hi Neve, welcome and thank you for talking with us. Could you tell us a little bit about your role as an API developer at Notion? Well, Thelma, API developers care about things such as data access, performance, and making sure integrations work smoothly with our system. Let me tell you about some of the models that are in an SRS document that would be relevant to me. The first core model I rely on is the domain model. It describes the main structures the API will expose: users, workspaces, pages, blocks, templates, and integrations. Blocks are important because they form the building units of the content. This tells me what API data needs to look like. Another relevant model to me is the use case model. In use case 2, it shows how real time editing works. Use case 1 is important because it tells us how the API should update pages and blocks, especially nested blocks. And the biggest one is use case 3 because it defines how authentication, API keys, and external content embedding should work. To work with Notion as an API developer, there are four core requirements to understand. First, Notion needs to present its content, pages, blocks, and databases in a clear, structured format so integrations know what they're dealing with. Second, all access must go through secure OAuth authentication. Third, integrations can only reach the content that the user themselves is allowed to view, so permissions handling is built in. And finally, the API must allow external apps to read, create, and update block level content. These requirements define how we safely and consistently build on top of Notion. I would also have questions that I would ask of the stakeholders. Will the API push real-time updates or require polling? This matters so integrations can stay in sync efficiently. What default permissions can integrations request? This ensures data access is safe and matches user settings. Should the API handle bulk operations or just single updates? This affects performance, especially for large workspaces. Thank you for your time, Neve. Some of my self-reflection on the SRS project. My strengths are organization, attention to detail, time management, and making of lists. My weaknesses come from some of the same places. I can become overly focused, take on too much work myself, and I'm definitely not naturally creative or artistic. For part one, I held back because I didn't know the group yet. So I created folders and docs of what needs to be done and shared that with the group, completed my section, and also did final proofreading. For part two, I became much more involved. I organized the work using tables, but I also ended up completing a large amount myself, adding missing content, inputting sections, proofreading, and doing most of the groundwork for the domain model until it was finally completed. Eventually, I explained that I was overwhelmed, and the group stepped in to help finish the document. To improve, I need to be more assertive earlier in group projects. I want to build my confidence in my skills and delegate tasks more evenly instead of doing everything myself. I've also made a beautiful project template to clearly track roles and responsibilities that I can share with the group. What I need to stop doing is taking on too much work and waiting until late to speak up about the work overload. Reducing both will lead to a fairer workload for everyone. For part one, I completed the stakeholder section. Through that work, I realized I might enjoy a future career as a product manager. The role aligns well with how my skills um, na- and I naturally work. I'm not committing to anything yet, but we'll see how things go. Thank you for watching this project.